Drew and KB bringing it to you from the Iron Jock studio inside the Megaplex. It was so delightful to catch up with the catcher from Stratford. We were just told that was one of our most wholesome segments ever. Talking to the German exchange student who walked off the victory, Stratford beating Darlington in the Division 6 state championship game yesterday. One of our most wholesome segments ever. How do we follow that?
We follow it with a man who is not wholesome in the least. But he passes himself off as one being wholesome because he carries a G. And, of course, if you have the right to carry the G, you're an upstanding citizen. None other than Aaron Nagler of Cheesehead TV. Nags, what is going on, my friend?
That was some serious pretzel logic going on in that intro.
That was.
My wholesome. Come on.
You were going from one side to the other there. I appreciate
My whole life is pretzel logic. And pretzels.
And
Happy
Steely
Friday,
Dan.
boys.
Happy Friday to
Happy
you,
Friday,
Nags.
Nags. We're getting close to game time. Oh, my goodness. Where do we start with the Packers?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't really know.
Actually, let's start with the fact that at the Brewers press conference the other day,
Right.
I thought to myself, if Ricky Weeks was affiliated with the Packers, Nags would have a T-shirt in the stores of "Let's bleep and go."
Let's bleep and go. No doubt. 100%.
You'd have turned it around and patented it, and you'd have
Would have had it up like by the end of the press conference. No doubt.
Yep. That's
We need
my first thought.
Brewhead TV to get on that.
That's right. But let's bleep and go with the Packers. This is a game they need to win, Nags, because you don't want to go in with this losing streak, dragging it into Detroit on Thanksgiving. This is a pivotal inflection point in the season. Is my logic flawed?
I mean, it's not flawed, but are you really sitting here telling me this is a must-win game for 2023 and the playoff hopes of this? Dude, come on.
No. Well,
I just want to have some fun, watch some ball, drink some beer. Hopefully Jordan Love throws a couple touchdowns. They get to jump in the stands. That's what I'm about.
Yes,
I'm about that life.
But here's the thing. If the Packers don't win
right
Sunday against the Chargers,
yes, sir,
there's a good chance that even people carrying the G are going to start for the rest of the season actively rooting against them winning.
There's a certain breed of fan that's going to be doing that anyway.
They're going to root for the draft.
They've been there for
happen.
a month. Trust me, they're in my mentions. They're in my inbox. Like I hear from them quite often. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, you lose this game, then you're going into Detroit. Don't feel great about that one. Then you got Kansas City. Don't feel great about that one. It's going to be a while before you can have another chance to put up a realistic W, right? And I think Sunday is very realistic. I think they have a good shot against the Chargers. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, oh, I absolutely think they're going to win. But, yeah, this is a team where especially the Packers offense showing signs of life these last couple of weeks, facing a defense which has just rolled out the welcome mat for every offense it has faced. This is a game where you want to avoid getting into a shootout with Justin Herbert and company, but it may be that type of game.
Well, Nags, I got to tell you, when the season started, I had just as much hope as anyone. I thought Vegas was nuts on the 7.5 over/under for wins. And now, damn, those guys are good.
They know what they're doing out there in the desert. What do you think they're doing out there in the desert?
Yeah, they're good. They're good, sadly.
The flaw in my logic is that why do I think that if they win Sunday to go 4-6 and then we wake up, in a couple weeks and they're 4-8, how is that any better than being 3-9? And it's really not.
Sir, no, it's a mentality, right? And look, what happened? What very notable moment, elongated moment happened for the Green Bay Packers the last time they stood at 4-6? That's right. They ran the table.
They ran the table.
Aaron Charles Rodgers sat at his locker and said, I think we're close. I think we can run the table. And then they did all the way to the NFC Championship game. Now, that's not going to happen this year. I'm just saying at 4-6, anything can happen. I'm like, I don't hate 4-6. I'll take it. Especially when we've only won 3 games all year, only one of which we have actually played the opponent's starting quarterback the entirety of that game. Like, that's the only game they've done that is week 1. Let's try and do it.
Yeah, but it's just a field, so.
Yeah, but to that
Still a
point,
starter. I'll take
as
it.
a friend of mine points out, Nags, the AFC race is now one of quarterback attrition with Joe Burrow gone, Deshaun Watson gone, Aaron Rodgers gone, well, maybe coming back, Anthony Richardson gone, Kenny Pickett gone here, gone back. Like, this is
up and down, in and out.
Yeah, it's pretty stunning. And to have your quarterback be healthy for entire an entire season. Is
it's
that becoming
minor? It's a minor miracle.
It's becoming
really,
the exception, isn't it?
Yes, 100%, no question about it. And look, that's why they have the rules. That's why they protect these quarterbacks. But look, even with all those protections, even with everything slanted to try and keep them on the field, they're still dropping like flies. You know why? Because it's a violent game. That's why it blows my mind when we have these just completely ridiculous roughing the passer calls, where it's like Joe Burrow tore a ligament in an innocuous play, the play before he goes out, and that had nothing to do with the way some guy fell on him or the way he was hit. Like, it's football, man. These are athletes. They're out there. Any play at any moment could go haywire for these guys. So I just, it drives me nuts how overprotective they are of quarterbacks, but you see why they are, because like sometimes it's hard to watch when you don't have the starters out there. No doubt about it.
Our conversations with Aaron Nagler are presented on the program by Miller Lite Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference in Rogers' behavioral health. All right. Did you happen to see Dan Graziano's little tidbit?
Yeah. Did you see my tweet last night? I said, I'll eat this tweet.
You'll eat the tweet. You'll print it out and you'll eat
tweet.
For people who don't know, the tweet was Dan Graziano, who does a good job. I've known Dan for a while. He was a baseball guy.
Dan's legit. I don't think he's throwing stuff at the wall. I think he's really heard this, but I think there's no possible
he believes
way this
the Packers
happens.
are a sleeper team to make a shocking move and make a run at Kirk Cousins in the offseason.
Chance that happens.
Dear
no
God.
Chance. That is the correct response, KB.
Well, I mean, what's Kirk Cousins going to command in the open market coming off the Achilles injury? I mean,
probably not. I mean, look, he probably will get a decent amount of money. I mean, I don't know as far as like he's going to get breaking the bank type money. Of course not. Like, it's coming off an injury. But that cat, all he does is put up numbers. So there will be a market for him. There is zero doubt about that.
I don't know why that market wouldn't be in Minnesota. Just run it back and
I know.
Well, keep him.
New GM, they want their own guy. It's always that. And look, they got the Dobbs kids playing well. So who knows what happens there?
Well, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, well, of course.
All right.
Need to be to play that position.
I was looking for a Christian Watson breakout game last week. I thought maybe we'd see it against that secondary. Didn't see it. He didn't get to triple digits.
They tried for it. They tried.
Will we see a Packers receiver have 100-yard games anytime soon?
It's interesting because there are so many mouths to feed, so to speak, although none of them are dominant, that I would suspect probably not. But I will say, if there is a time for the Packers to finally have their starting quarterback go over 300 yards passing, this is the week. This is it. At home, control of the kind of line of scrimmage because there's no noise to speak of except for the people doing the wave. And you can probably work how you want to work on offense. Exactly. So, yeah, there's a chance that this is against this secondary. And it's so weird looking at this Chargers team because they are talented. There is tons of talent on that team. But, man, their defense is poor. I mean, as frustrating as it is to watch the Packers defense, the Chargers defense may be worse, which is insane to me.
That's rough. How are they special teams-wise? Because a lot of people are writing that Keyshawn Nixon is ripe to take one to the house.
Well, he's gotten close, right? Close these last couple weeks. I think that's more to do with the Packers than anything. I think they've done a better job in front of him, and he has done a better job of, not trying to do too much. I think he's doing a good job of following his blocking, and then things are opening for him, and he's busting it. But, yeah, I mean, look, you never really know. I mean, that happened against the Vikings last year, mostly because the Vikings took really poor angles. So who knows? Maybe the Chargers go down that road. But I just, for all the excitement around Keyshawn Nixon, I get excited about it. But then I'm like, well, we're having extra points blocked. We're having kickoffs put out of bounds. Like, can we just get through a game without one special team snafu? Just one clean game. Because it's like seemingly every week something is up. And I think Rich Bisaccia is too good a coach for that to continue. Got to shore that up.
I think I will make a prediction here. If we're going to pick what wide receiver will get a 100-yard game first.
Oh, we know who you're going to take, and I think
you're darn right.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be
Jaden Reed. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, how fun is he to watch? And how fun is it to watch him finally kind of get in sync with Jordan Love? That play, it's funny, Drew, remember on Monday we were talking about the end of the game, the big one that kind of set them up for a chance to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing play between two guys who've not played a ton of football together, but for both of them to see that backside open up. And Jordan basically throws it up to a spot, hoping that Reed will see what he's seeing, and Reed does. And it's a big gain, gets out of bounds. That is a monster play. And I don't think we would have seen that earlier in the season. Like, that's not part of the script. That ain't part of the play. That's two dudes just playing ball together for a while and finally starting to see things similarly.
It'd be interesting. Talking to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV here on the Drew and KB program. Okay, we talked about Rashawn Gary, in his place in the pantheon, in the subdivision of, he's not in the same subdivision as Max Crosby and those guys, the Bosas.
No, he's not.
But
he's not probably top
adjacent.
3, but he's close. He's
adjacent.
I'd put him in the top, 5, 6. Around
and now he's battling a shoulder injury and is questionable.
Yep, got hurt in practice today. I mean, can we stop practicing? Like, it seems like the Packers pay dudes and then they get hurt in practice. Let's just pay dudes and not have them practice. I kid, of course, but it is incredibly frustrating. I mean, just when you're getting somewhat healthier on that side of the ball, you got Quay Walker back at practice this week. Jair Alexander has practiced the last 2 days, albeit in a limited capacity, but he's practiced. So there's a chance you get him back on Sunday, which would be amazing because Keenan Allen sure seems like he's trending towards playing in this game. And that's going to be a problem for the Packers secondary if Jair can't go. So you finally get some good news in that regard. But now, who knows with Rashawn? And look, maybe it's time. Lucas Van Ness, come on down. It's your time, man. We've been waiting. The rookie has been kind of rotated in at times, right? Hasn't gotten a ton of run. Might be time.
We're looking for somebody to make that leap the way Watson did last year, and why not Lucas Van Ness? Right?
I mean, he is the 13th overall pick in the NFL draft this season. Maybe it's time for him to play with a little more regularity and start to do some stuff on defense because those plays for him have been pretty few and far between.
Well, when the playoffs are then, not that they aren't already, but the playoffs are a pipe dream and stuff. And
I love you, Drew.
If you lose these games, then why aren't you looking for development? I know coaches and this is our job and we have to win as many games as we can.
Games,
but big picture, then is that an organizational thing where we have a meeting and Goody says, play the kids? Like, what are you doing?
Well, don't you think that like trading Rasul is kind of like prodding him that way? Like it always kind of feels like there's a bit of a disconnect between the personnel side and the coaches. And that's kind of just normal, right? Because personnel is always looking forward. They're always thinking ahead. They're always having long-term plans, right? Coaches are week to week. They have to win games. They have to win this game. Like, I get it a little bit, but it does feel like, whether you're talking about Lucas Van Ness or Sean Ryan, former third-round pick, looked really good when given an opportunity a couple weeks ago, but seemingly can't get back on the field. Like, and that's a young guy, I think. Runyon's in the last year of his deal. Like, don't you want this young third-round pick, second year in the league, to the back half of this season, get on the field and get those valuable reps so you can hit the ground running next season? I think the personnel group would like that. I have no idea. Probably not the coaches, though.
That's our theory of the case. But that, it depends. Some of that is contract status, security, trusting the process.
Well, and look, they've made it abundantly clear, at least the staff between LaFleur and Stenovich on offense. Don't forget, they put out basically Billy Turner on a bum knee in a playoff game over Yash Nyman, who had played like 3-4 weeks in a row, because they value experience. They value guys who they can trust. And look, we can argue about it, and we can say this is the wrong approach, blah, 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 but that's how they run their ship, and I don't think it's changing anytime soon.
It doesn't seem like it. So, Nags, if Gary can't play, getting Job back is going to help, especially in a certain matchup. But if Gary can't go, already part of the problem with the Packers this year is that they're not taking the ball away, and he's a guy that's, one of their better guys at that.
Able to do it. Although, hey, Preston Smith, he's had a strip sack fumble this year. Who knows, man? Anybody can step up at any point.
There's got to be more. What do they have? 6
fumbles
total
and
takeaways?
And their takeaways are just
in the creating turnovers department. It has been the dregs of the universe. There's no doubt about that. And look, Matt brought it up instantly when asked about Quay Walker yesterday. Maybe we can get him going sideline to sideline, hawking at the ball. People forget, and obviously he had that great interception week 1, runs it back for a touchdown. Very exciting. He's had 3 others go through his hands this year, almost very similar plays, right there in the middle of the defense. He just got to start holding on to these balls because they're clear. It's clear that Barry's putting him in position to make these plays. The calls have been decent, but he's just keeps dropping interceptions. So that's the thing. Like, guys got to close, man. There's an opportunity to get the quarterback from behind. You better be raking at that ball. If there's a chance to get your hands on a errant Herbert throw, you better be closing in on it and taking it away, because they have been absolutely terrible when it comes to getting the football.
So Nags, when's the last time you saw a Packers team try this many gadget plays in a season? Wait,
yeah,
let me rephrase that. In a decade?
Yeah, it's been a while, right? I think I wrote in Gut Reactions on Sunday, maybe we don't need a throwback to the back in every game. Like, it did feel like a bridge too far. Although I will say, it's fun when they work, and if Aaron catches the freaking ball against Pittsburgh, he's probably maybe not off to the end zone, but he's off to the races. He's got blockers in front of him. So that obviously you got to execute, but it does feel like a little overkill. Although I will say, let's not complain. Don't forget all the freaking option plays we saw at the start of the year, and Matt threatened to keep running those, and he hasn't. So thank goodness that he's seemingly kind of gotten that out of his system. So I'll take the throwback trick plays, fine, as long as it means we don't see any more option stuff. I'm down with it.
Okay. Nags, I hate to be a negative Nelly, but I'm about to. This is
sports talk radio, isn't it? Isn't that your job?
Well,
come on now.
What's more, I guess, nauseating? Which would be more nauseating if you said, if we're saying on Sunday they need to feed Aaron Jones more?
Oh boy,
which we always say, or man, if only they had Rudy Ford out there.
Oh,
which one is more daunting to the operation and to the chances of a Packers W?
The second one is so depressing. Why did you even say that? Oh,
well, that's the thing. Like,
Well, here's the thing. Rudy Ford is one of the lone dudes who's been taking the ball away this year. He's got a couple of interceptions, right?
What I'm saying, if he can't play, it's like we're gonna. If I'm saying to myself, oh, it'd be different if only we had Rudy Ford out there. That wouldn't be this bad. Like,
now look, that means Anthony Johnson Jr. is going to step up and he's going to have a moment. He's going to have a rival moment for the rookie 7th round pick. He's like the Matrix, like when the code finally appears and it all makes sense. This is me just trying to manifest it into existence.
Just carrying the G.
Probably, against that offense, it's probably going to be a fire drill. But, I think Jonathan Owens has played decent. I don't think it's been great from Owens, but I think he's been better than I thought he would be, considering how kind of lost he looked this summer. He has not been the train wrek I expected. So
I agree. He's holding it down.
And the young kid, okay, let's make it work. And look, Barry's going to have them lined up in Ashwaubenon anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Especially against Justin Herbert.
They're going to be they're going to be across the way at the Titletown.
Oh dear God!
The Titletown field rather than Lambeau.
That's
field.
right.
As usual, I'll say if the Packers don't win the turnover battle, they're not winning this game. They need to turn them over.
They get the ball, man. I mean, it's pretty simple. And look, the other big thing, turnovers, stay ahead of the sticks, The big thing this week, just get in the end zone when you're in the red zone. I mean, they were really good at this early in the season, and it's been a real issue these last couple of weeks. And I know Matt's talked about it, but that is
the second half of the games in the season.
It was an issue with the previous quarterback too, the red zone.
Yes,
stuff.
it was.
Yeah, the last couple of years, 2020 was hot, but then it's fallen off. It's fallen off the last couple of seasons, no doubt. But look, like I said, they were lights out at the start of the season. I think first 2 or 3 games, what was it? They were like 80% or something. So they've shown they can do it. Got to get back. Like Matt said, they got to run the ball a little bit better. And look, when plays are there, like Runyon just makes a block and Aaron Jones is walking in one of those screens. So, just got to execute a little better. And I think, again, against this Chargers team, this is a week they could turn it around.
Yeah. All right. Nags, carry that G all weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Have a great Sunday watching ball.
Thanks a lot, guys. Talk to you Monday. Go Pack.
Bye, Nags.